Let's lead. Let's ride. Unify leadership. Light the flame, turn it up loud, remember the name. Leadership. Power and pride, we don't just talk, we testify. Leadership. Heart and grind, purpose and rhythm, perfectly timed. Bass hit heavy, croppers and rhythm, purpose and rhythm, perfectly timed. Bass hit heavy, crowd on sway. Culture clay, truth and play. Sifu, Rafael, calm control, leaders in sync. Hearts of gold, focus sharp, the mission clear. Every step forward, silence the fear. Discipline, dripping, confidence, how we move together, we amplify. Who we are, unified. What we lead, unified. Stand tall, unified. Every time, unify leadership. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm, born to spar. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm, born to spar. Steady and true, the sound of the few that follow new. Strong alive, this is the beat where leaders thrive. Unified leadership.
Good morning, good morning. How are you today?
Oh man, I'm feeling good, bro. Every time I hear that track, you already know. I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm ready to rumble. Float like
Yes.
a butterfly, sting like a bee type this morning. And I'm ready for the shift, brother. I'm ready.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I'm super excited, not only for today's show, but the summit that we have coming up. And
Yeah.
we started messing around a little bit with even the music. And I'm going to play a little bit of it now.
Let's get after
Take a
this.
listen.
Leadership is not a title. It's a decision you make every single day. That's why pressure makes leaders.
Unified leadership.
Unified leadership.
Unified leadership.
Unified leadership.
Unified leadership. Oh.
Pressure makes leaders. Fire reveal truth. Built through the struggle, not built in the booth. Unified leadership. We stand when it's hard. Different minds, one vision built to raise the bar.
Hey, you know what, Coach Teal?
Yeah.
I gotta stop it there because in the background, I'm seeing everybody moving. So why don't we start bringing them in?
Yes,
Let's
yes.
get the vibe together. So
Absolutely.
let's start off with Chris coming in from Australia, Dr. Rani coming in from the UK, and Renee coming in from, are you ready for this? Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning, good morning,
Hello,
good morning.
everyone. Great
You
to
caught
be
me
here.
jamming in the background.
Let's play it again, everybody's, and then we're going to get into the show. This is for our summit happening August 21st.
Raise the bar. Pressure makes leaders. That's why we don't fold. Pain turn to purpose, now the whole world know. Unified leadership. Feel the energy shift when real leaders link up, everything elevate quick.
Raise the bar. Raise the bar.
Unified. Unified.
Unified leadership. Raise the bar.
Raise the bar. Raise the bar.
Unified leadership.
Sifu, Rafael with the vision voice. Built through discipline, pressure, choice. 50 years sharpening body and soul. Now he teach leaders how to reclaim control. Communication deeper than words you gon' say. Leadership measured by the price that you pay. Challenge the framework, strengthen the spine. Every scar on my body got purpose, got design. Coach T, Oak Clay with the boots on the ground. Marine mindset when the pressure come around. Built through the storms that destroy weak men. Lead with honor, that's the code that we live in. Light bulb lessons hit different, hit hard. Discipline sharp, like a blade in the dark. When emotion run wild and direction unclear. Real leaders know how to stand in that fear.
Pressure. Don't break you.
It reveals.
Wow. I got to tell you, light bulb lessons, man.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
love
good,
it.
man.
How much
That's
did you have to
good.
pay Ludacris to jump on the track?
That's good to go, man. That's awesome.
It's good.
Yes.
So one of the things that really inspires me is people like you guys, right?
Yeah.
Because leadership doesn't happen by itself. It happens when we unite. And this is why we have unified leadership. So thank you
Yes.
all for being here from all over the world, if you will, joining us today on the leadership shift. So I know what it means to me. I'm just curious what it means to every one of you. And I'll start with whoever wants to go first.
I
I'll
can
let you
start. For me, the leadership shift is not about an org chart. It's not about the systems, all the things. It starts with a decision. when you decide that you're going to show up, not just in the moment, but every moment, you are going to stop shrinking in those rooms and you make a decision to make an impact. So I get excited about this topic, but for me, that's what that means is it starts with a decision to show up differently and lead with impact versus looking for approval.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Reminds me of a quote that I heard the other day that I really resonated with. If it's to be, it's up to me.
Mm-hmm.
If it's to be, it's up to me. That means that you have the responsibility to make the shift. And when you have that responsibility of leading other people, that's what you're evoking the shift for everyone else. And that's a responsibility, a right, and a privilege. That's the shift you have to make.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Dr. Rani?
Yes, I think the shift comes when the leader themselves they think, feel, and they act differently. That has an impact on everybody else, a positive impact that help others to transform and inspire them. That's what I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
You know, I'm going to go to you next, Theo.
I'm reading the comments. Shout out to good Teddy out there. He said, leadership for me is about absolutely being a servant, serving others, and in order for the better. And I agree. Veggie backing off of Chris, a quote, dreams are a vision of a future where it seems unattainable to everyone but you. And that being the key piece, man, that but you. Dreams are a vision of a future where it seems unattainable to everyone but you.
It is. So I just wanted to show this, the summit that we're doing. These are some of the speakers that are going to be with us from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And then we're going to have a mastermind afterwards. I got to tell you that the leadership shift is basically what you all covered, and I love it. But for me, it's who you're becoming as a leader. Because the shift for you has to be deep enough for you to encourage others to go along with you, to see the vision. So a leader does not stay quiet. Maybe they do while they're working the process, but now they have to lead others. There's so many incredible leaders that we've had in our time. Some who are with us still, some who have passed, some who were taken away tragically. But they all had to impact others by the shift that happens inside of them as a human being in order to be able to, they could not be the leader if they stayed the same. So this is why I always say, and Renee and everybody who knows me knows that if you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to respond with exceptional and getting better every day. The reason I say that is because of two things. Yes, Malcolm X. Thank you, Robert Lytle. I was thinking of Martin Luther King as well, right? Think about the speech that he had. But for me, the reason I say getting better every day is because I have to get better. Otherwise, I should have stayed in bed. This morning, I was listening to things. I've already worked out. I've already done all the things. I usually am at the gym before most people wake up. And the reason is because I'm building me. And I know you're all building you. So for me, that's what leadership shift is. We have to shift who we are and who we're becoming so we can be the stronger version of ourselves.
Yeah.
I love that, Sifu, and it also makes me think about the ego.
Mhm.
There are often times when we have the mindset of, oh, what are they going to think of me if I do this? Or did I say the right thing? And so we're looking for that approval versus thinking about how am I going to serve others
Yeah.
and having that intention and having that strong why. And I think that's that point that we as leaders get when we really understand our why and we understand what it means to be a leader. That's a powerful shift that happens. And so you're shifting from that ego, which is about you, but how can I serve others in what I do? And then that purpose, your values all comes through. And that's a leader that I love to follow. Those who exemplify those values.
Yeah, that's good, man. That really, Renee, makes me think about, it was probably around late 2023, maybe middle of 2023 to late 2023. I was upset. Uh, I was angry. I was frustrated, and I was scrolling on Instagram. This is no lie. Scrolling on Instagram, and I felt sick in my stomach because the leadership tree that I come from is the United States Marine Corps. It is proven. It is in stone. It's like Rosetta Stone. You know, when you think about the many great leaders that's come through the Marine Corps, and I had the privilege of serving under that umbrella for over 2 decades. And what I was seeing on Instagram online, many people talking about leadership, it seemed just like a lot of self gratification, as we would call self-licking ice cream cones, right? So you're just dripping all over yourself, but you're licking yourself constantly. How are you serving someone else? Ice cream is about pulling up with the kids and being served soft serve ice cream. You know, it's even it's in there, soft serve ice cream. But anyway, just to be clear, that particular day, man, I ran across this gentleman and he was speaking about leadership. And I was like, that's it, man. Him, that's it. That's it. And I went on a binge just going through all his different aspects of how he teaches leadership. And I said, man, that's what I want right there. That's the avatar I need to follow right there because he's it. And I jumped in the DM. I sent him this long love letter about how amazing he was, how I loved his leadership. Sifu, Renee, Dr. How do you say your first name? I don't, Dr. Rani?
Rani, yes, that's
Rani,
correct.
yes, Dr. Rani. And I remember paraphrasing, I remember saying to him, I'm not a groupie. I am a real person. I'm not a bot. And I'm a real leader. And man, I want to connect with you. And years later, Chris March sits here on this screen with us on Unified Leadership Today. Why? Because he's a servant leader.
Mm.
He responded back to me and was like, hey, brother, man, great. You know, I'm kind of flattered all these wonderful things you're saying about me. But hey, leadership is about giving. How can we exchange? How can I help you? You know, the journey I'm on, I'm still growing and learning and developing. So how can we work together basically? And man, Chris was in Canada at the time. You know, he gave me his phone number. We talked on the phone. That's when I learned he was from Australia. I started talking about Darwin and you know, Perth and Sydney and Brisbane, all the great places I've been able to experience as a Marine being out there. And man, it was truly unified. So I just wanted to get that out there for whoever's watching today. I've seen a lot of great leaders in the chat. Man, I love Chris March, brother. I love you, Chris, man. And Renee just sparked it in me. to think about what you really meant to me, brother. Like just watching your style. So thank you, brother. Yeah, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Always great to be in your company, and that's why I jumped on here today, even though it's well past my bedtime. Anytime I get to chat with you is always a good time. So great to see you
Yes.
all, and thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, brother.
That's pretty incredible when you see somebody who impacts you the way you saw Chris.
Yes.
And I think that leadership is also about connecting with others, right? It's about unifying, if you will, right? Because this
Yeah.
is unified leadership, but it's about unifying one another to bring different concepts that we may have an idea, they may have an idea, and we bring them together. Man, that explodes into something profound and beautiful. So that's thank you for that share.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's a leadership junkie, man. Like I always say, like you go check out Chris March. It's about leadership, bro. You know, and I love watching him. I love just that confirmation of knowing that, hey, man, I'm not the only one. I look at Renee. I know in my spirit, my heart, I'm not the only one. You, Sifu, Dr. Ronnie, Rob Lytle, you know, Teddy, so many, and Mike Stevenson. Shout out to Mike in the chat today. All great leaders that are consistent with their leadership. And to me, that's what it takes, man. That's dreams are a vision of a future where it seems unattainable to everyone. But you think about how many people in our lives right now, family, people that we've worked with, that they can't see the vision. No knock to them, no disrespect to them. It's just they can't really grasp and understand why we are real leadership junkies. Like why we love leadership. We see leadership standing in McDonald's. I don't know about you all, but I'm in McDonald's and the fries are cold and they don't offer me napkins and a straw. I start thinking about the leadership. Not that I'm gonna cause a big scene or anything, but sometimes I could get back in the car and just feel down. Like man, if they had great leadership in there, the experience would be like Okinawa, Japan, Sifu. If you go to McDonald's in Okinawa, Japan, it's like being at Ruth and Chris. It's a 5-star restaurant. Why? Because the food tastes the same. It's because of the leadership.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Ruth and Chris, right? It's the way they treat you when you walk in. That's leadership right there. It's how we treat one another. So, with this whole shift and everything, it made me think of somebody that, my God, really transformed even the way I think, but he transformed over 2 million people, and that's Mahatma Gandhi, right?
Yeah.
The way his leadership was, it was selfless. It wasn't about him, it was about everyone involved. And the fact that he had all these people following him without social media. Hello?
Right. That's so true. That is true.
Without Facebook, without he didn't email people. He didn't, it was just his actions. So the leadership shift for me is also based on not only your thoughts, how you treat other people, but the actions you take or the inactions you take. Because every decision is a yes or no.
Just to add to that, the way I like to always describe it is leadership is a verb. It shows up in motion, not on paper.
Yeah. That's right. The leadership is also, Chris, Sifu. If you visit the Martin Luther King Center here in Atlanta, Georgia, big garden. Who's the big statue in the garden? Gandhi. Gandhi. More people hover around Gandhi because they know that connection of like, man, wow, this man moved the world. If you move the world, like you said, without social media, without marketing teams, without all these different things. It's just him, just leading. So, oh man, shift. It's good.
I like the verb that you said, action. And when I think about action, it makes me think about intention. What's your intention behind the action? Because if I show up as a leader who is about me, my title, or what I can get versus who are people becoming as a result of me, then we might not have our priorities in the right way as a leader. Because if you're only focused on one part, it's not sustainable. Eventually, that is going to wash out. But the true leaders have that foundation and that strong intention of why you want to serve. And the people that you serve or you pour into are an extension of you. So that's what it means to me of having that leadership shift, but then also putting that into action.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that there's an F in that word also. Because sometimes there is that other leadership, right, without the F. And instead of shift, it's all the nonsense that happens in leadership. It's people who are placed in a leadership position who should never have been a leader because they didn't go through I'm going to say, the critical training of relationships. Because I believe a great leader understands relationships. For me personally, without the relationship that Coach Theo Clay and I have, we would never have been able to create this show, to talk about the topics that we talk about, to bring incredible people like yourselves here. So I think one of the things that a lot of leaders don't understand fully is relationships. And sometimes they're trying to elevate themselves and they're not caring about the people that they're stepping on to get to the next level. So to me, that's not leadership. That's only self-serving.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Yes, that's so true, Sifu. And when we talk of relationship leaders, you said, I think you made a very, very important point about leaders and relationship, because the greatest relationship a leader will have is first with himself or herself. And that's why they need to be a great leader. I believe that you need to invest time on working on yourself, on working on your trauma, on healing your wounds, because then you can show up and be stable and create an environment of trust, an environment of cooperation and harmony. Because if you are a leader that you are yourself insecure within yourself and that you are not happy within yourself, it's very difficult. You will operate from an ego perspective where you will want to control people. So when
Golly, bro. Phew.
Mm.
I got me choked up right there. I'm sorry, Dr. Ronnie. It's just, hey, you spitting jewels right now. You spitting good jewels right now.
Thank you.
Ooh,
Everybody
Lord.
is in their own way today. Yeah, everybody is a leader, is doing great. Yeah.
Man. Wow, that's
Yeah,
powerful.
see, we keep saying ego, and it always comes back to what I heard many, many, many years ago. And ego is edging God out, right? There's other people, other ways we can look at ego. But I always say, and there's a lot of controversy based on ego because they say you need ego to progress, to push yourself, right? But I also think of ego as self-serving only, right? So for me, I always say, if you see my ego, please punch it in the face and punch it off.
Yes. Wow.
And in hearing that, one thing, if people haven't read the book Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, definitely check it out. It's around that core theme as well. If you're not open to feedback, then you're going to be caught in your own way.
Yeah.
You said Ron Holloway?
Ryan Holiday.
Ryan Holiday. Okay.
Ego is the Enemy. Fantastic book. I recommend it to a lot of different leaders.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great books, actually.
Yeah, he's very big on. He speaks a lot about stoicism.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's really about the moment ego takes the wheel, leadership stops
Yeah.
and self-protection begins.
Yes.
Man, I think about commitment. I think about discipline. I think about humility.
Mm.
And it goes back to like Dr. Ronnie, man. It's understand. All of us have faced aspects of, struggle in leadership. Whatever outfit we've been in, we have faced it. We have sit there wherever in the office, in the car. For me, sometimes on a ship, out in the middle of nowhere, and I have to go find that little quiet space for myself, Chris, and just sit there like, bro, I have to do something. And I can be honest and tell you all, on the 29th of May, 2026, I never felt like I couldn't. And that's not ego, that's not arrogancy. It's just I knew I had to react. I had to respond. I had to do something. Like Dr. Ronnie said, it goes back within. That's what builds you. And Sifu said it a minute ago, like there's many leaders or self-proclaimed leaders that they haven't experienced that fall, that failure. It's like, Renee, Dr. Ronnie, I don't know if you all are moms, but if you are, I know you sat at home and felt like I'm failing with whatever it is, breastfeeding, getting the baby to take the baby food, something within that nature of, man, why can't I get over the hump with this? And I think the same thing, that it goes back to self and really realizing the commitment of yourself, the humbleness of yourself, because again, you can't do it alone. I don't know. Dr. Martin Luther King did not do it alone. He had gentlemen like Gandhi. He had, I don't know, Jesse Jackson. He had so many different individuals around him helping them. So for anyone out there today, I know many of you in the chat, some of you I know, and I know you lead every day, but ask yourself, do I do it alone? Or has my leadership been a part of others around me? But you still have to be you. So when I think of the shift, I think that for some reason I keep feeling failure. Like, because the storms of life are always raging. They're going to keep happening. And the measurement of that leadership is how you react, how you respond. How do you get the baby to go to sleep? How do you get the team to continue to follow you? Because we always say it, and it's the truth, you all. And if you get to the top of that mountain and you look behind you and nobody's there, who did you really lead? You led no one. If you get to the top and everybody's still there with you, and you're at that crest of the summit or whatnot, you can say, hey man, we did it together. That's a beautiful form of leadership.
Yeah. And Tio, as a mom of 2 adult children, I think being a leader is and a mom is one of the most important jobs, because you lead, you don't choose to lead. You
That's
embody
right.
that. So it's in the actions. And when I see my sons just show up in ways that I never thought possible, I'm so proud. And at that moment, years ago, I thought it was a failure. But now, wow, someone watched my walk. Someone listened when I thought they weren't listening. And those are powerful moments as leaders. So it's not one of those hats that we get to to put on, or a cape that we get to put on when we choose to, because you are a leader whether you choose to or not. One of the things I think that I always hear from you is being a Marine, and there's such pride with it. And I thank you for your service, that even though you're not in active service now, once a Marine, always a Marine. And
It's a fact.
we embody that. And so we don't
Yeah.
choose to. And so no one's going to say, oh, Tio was a Marine. He is a Marine. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's the piece when we think about the leadership shift. It's from doing leadership, the things, to embodying, and it being who you are, how you
Yeah.
show up.
Man, that's good, man. Wow.
Yes.
That's so good.
And I would like
Yeah, that's good.
to add something regarding leadership. I think this is a great time that we are in at this time. And there is so much going on within organizations. And that's the time where we are going to see great leaders rise. What I mean by great leaders is leaders who lead from a heart-centered place, who are themselves aligned with their heart and their mind, and they don't make decision only from their mind, because if you only think of the mind, you wouldn't make the right decision. You would make decision mostly from a power and control and fear. But when you lead with your heart and your mind aligned, that's when you make the best decisions for your people, for the growth of your organizations. And when I also think of leadership, it reminds me of somebody that I think everybody has heard is Nelson Mandela.
Mm-hmm.
And he was such an example of leadership. He was so humble. I love his humility. And he became an even great leader when he was in the prison. He was sitting by himself, he had nobody. And that allowed him to center himself, to align himself. And when he came back, and he didn't use force as a leader, but he used his wisdom. And that's
Yes.
what created the shift in his country, and the shift in the leadership. So it's really, really powerful that leadership shift can occur from a place of inner wisdom and not from physical force that we would think of. Yeah.
Wow. Mm.
I love the fact that you brought up Nelson Mandela, because one of the biggest takeaways that you can also get from there is called forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from the heart. It doesn't come from the mind, because the mind is going to say, don't forgive. They did you wrong, this, that, and the other. So if we learn anything from that, is that we have to forgive with the heart. And then the mind will resonate. How did I forgive this person? Why did I forgive this person? And then you'll say, because I love. And if I love, there should be no hatred in my heart, even for my enemy. And I got to tell you, the people that usually have taught me the most are the ones that have hurt me the most. So thank you to all of you who've ever hurt me. Now
Right.
go away.
It's good, man. Oh man. Man, we're talking about some powerful people, man.
Mhm.
And I think about, like, with that shift piece, man, it's like we're seeing a lot of shifting happening right now. But it is a beautiful thing this morning to know that Chris is in Australia, Dr. Ronnie's in the UK. We got William Chapman in the chat. He's out in Japan right now. And when I think of that globe of unified leadership, when Sifu and I sat together, we was like, man, we got to come up with a logo that represents, that true unification.
Mhm.
And it's on full display right now in this moment. I'm just grateful that I know I'm reaching out and touching someone today that is in the UK. Because Dr. Ronnie's going to keep leading throughout the day. She's going to keep serving and blessing others, and that connection. Same with Chris. Yeah, there it is, man. Like that representation to me is what it's about. You know, thank you, Renee, because you're right. You know, once a Marine, always a Marine. But I sit at the kitchen table last night. This last night, you all, and I told my two sons, one's 16, one's 12. I said, I really loved my time as a Marine, actively serving. I said, but my greatest accomplishment is just being your dad. Like that's the most pride I have. The biggest pride, the biggest accomplishment, the biggest reward is being with you two and being able to raise you and help you, you know, keep you on that within 2 degrees of the compass, as I love to say, and they understand that very well. So I always tell them, man, if you shoot that azimuth, you're trying to go 10 clicks, 5 clicks, miles or whatnot, and you get outside of that 2 degrees, you may think that you're going to end up where you're going to end up, but you could still be 2 or 3 miles off just based on that 1 degree. So keeping them within those confines is important. And I see them shift every day. Like you said, Renee, you have 2 sons that now you can look back at and say, man, they listen. They listen. That's what I always say about my daughter. She's 30. I'm like, man, she listened. The greatest gift is just she listened, because you can see it in the fruits. Same thing as leaders. It's a good feeling when you can sit back and say, my team listened. You know, this Fortune 500 CEO that I'm, you know, coaching, he listened. That's it. You know, but back to Dr. Rani, we have to listen to. We have to listen. You can't coach nobody else if you're not being coached, in my opinion. You know, Sifu coaches me, Chris coaches me. So many other great leaders. Robbie Lighty in the chat coaches me. And I can use that in the repertoire because it really is about that unified connection. Man, Sifu, this is a great moment right here, Sifu.
Coach Tio, you mentioned something powerful is having people who pour into you. And
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that network. When on my early leadership journey, I thought I had to know all the answers, do everything myself, and that there was something wrong with me if I couldn't. But now I'm leaning into and just love being able to tap into so many coaches who are pouring into me, teaching me and helping those gaps. And I will say, no matter how educated we are, you still need to grow. There's still blind spots. There's areas. So your potential, as long as you're still breathing, you have the potential to learn. And I'm grateful. You see me taking notes here because I love being able to learn. And this is part of my network. And so as a leader, if you don't have the power of that network, get one.
Yeah.
Sure. I have to say, it's a great moment now, but with every passing moment, it just gets better and better. Because later, today or tomorrow, I don't know when you're going to Philly, but I'm going to be seeing Coach Tio in person. We're going to get to hug it out. So it's going to be a beautiful day, right? Because we're going to go to this event. And for me, it's about doing things online is great, but doing things in person just blows it away. So we are doing an event in September. I'd love to share that with you guys, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah,
Of course.
yes.
Let's do it.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event, it's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds, a movement of momentum. Sifu, Rafael.
NYC experience mastermind. Light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC experience mastermind, where purpose is found.
Woo! Hot stuff. And Jose and Lancelot are also going to be there with us. So the four amigos are getting together for sure.
Great promo.
Thank you. So how do we, as leaders, help someone else see themselves as a leader and allow them to start shifting into a leadership position, if you will?
I think the shift with that is a lot of the times for people who aren't leaders or think that leadership is unattainable, is leadership is not a title. You don't need to have a leadership title for you to be a leader. I think we've heard this throughout. Renee, you're a leader to your kids. You're a leader in your community to other folks as well. So what are you doing to turn up and show up for other people before you're actually in that official leadership role? Because I'm sure in motion, as I said, leadership shows up in motion. What are you doing every day for a leadership position? So there's different attributes that you can bring before you actually get to that leadership title per se. And how do you embody that before you actually step into that professional domain? And what are you doing to uphold that? That's the way I look at it, because a lot of people think they have to wait to that professional moment, but that you're embodying that, you're living and dreaming that every day.
Chris, I love what you said of waiting. It's now. And it goes back to what you said earlier was the action. And I think about many times being in a corporate role and waiting for permission for someone to say, you're doing a good job, or you're ready for the next level. And the piece that was missing was internally knowing who I was and what I was bringing to the table. When that why was missing, I was doing the things, and many of those things, but the things are not sustainable. When you have alignment, and I think Dr. Rani, you mentioned that when you have alignment with who you are, you show up differently, you lead differently, your presence walks into the room. It's not loud, but it leads with presence, and it doesn't take the energy out of the room. It ignites the energy in the room. And so I just get excited about that phrase of stop waiting. The time is now.
I love the fact that, Chris, you bring up the word to move and to take action, because your name speaks that. March is already a given. There's movement in your name, so there's movement in your leadership style. I love it. So when I first read your name the first time when I saw the email, I'm like, March? I'm like, did I get that wrong? Let me look again. I'm like, March, that's pretty cool, right? I was born in March, so I connected right away. But when you think about even somebody's name, it means so much, because everybody has a name that was given to them, but it's how you enter into accepting your name and making something of it. Like Mahatma Gandhi, like Malcolm X, all these different people, they made something of their name because they moved others. They moved in their environment. They allowed others to see the beauty in themselves, to see what was missing or what needs to be added even. So I think that it's very important for us to understand that leadership has to come from childhood. It does. Because if we are not teaching our children to be leaders, Renee, I don't know how on earth you have grown kids when you're like 25. I have no idea. It's crazy for me. But if we don't start with the kids, do we expect them to become an adult and all of a sudden they're leaders? No, we have to start from childhood. I love teaching little ones. And I teach them all these different concepts and ideas. And even yesterday, a bunch of kids who were rowdy. And then I said to them, you guys, quiet, do this, do that. And I said, if you're going to be here, you have to act like a champion. Now, raise your hand if you want to be a champion. Slowly, the hands went up. And then I said, what is a champion to you? And each one had to say it. And so once we got through that, then I said, okay, who wants to be a champion? The hands went up faster because they understood the principles of becoming a champion, that you can't just sit around and goof off. Sometimes we have to do the hard work. And the hard work requires your full effort, requires you being in the moment, requires you to bring others in to help you, because you can't do it by yourself sometimes. And it's okay to be a solopreneur, but even a solopreneur has a spouse helping them, has their kids helping them until they actually understand what entrepreneurship is as a leader.
Sifu, I love that you started with the children and the mindset of a child of understanding that there's a process to becoming a champion. So when we're children, we know that there's a process of growing. We go through different stages. I want to pose this question to all of you. Where does it shift when we think that leadership means that we just skip the stages and you go to the top or the title? And so we lose our ability to embrace the process of growth.
The journey is the reward.
Yeah.
There's no.
Yeah.
Ditto.
There's the biggest lessons are in failures, right?
Yeah.
And I think as society we have an adverse attachment to celebrating failures. We always celebrate our wins, right? You look at people's stories, we flash a certain lifestyle, but we're very hesitant to talk about the failures, the lessons learned, because it's vulnerable, it's hard, it's uncomfortable.
That's where the real shift takes place. You know, that's the magic. I wrote down somewhere along the lines, you know, I got all these notes, I'm sure like we all do, just over years. And this one says, and I got it circled with a star beside it, so I know it's important, but it says 4 seasons of my life: discovery, editing, mastering, and harvesting. 4 seasons of my life. You know, discovering, editing, mastering, and harvesting. And it's like Renee was saying earlier, man, I go through all of these seasons, you know, they're kind of like this at all times. Because if you're a parent, you already know it gets real out here. For us parents, it gets real. You know, and the mastering aspect of it, I think about Chris again. You know, like you were saying, Sifu, with March and how you established that connection. When Chris and I really started getting in the weeds of trying to really build with one another, we found common ground with the Mamba mentality. Mamba mentality is Kobe Bryant. You know, Kobe still to this day, like I watched the game last night, the San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City, and I was sitting there thinking about Kobe, like just certain things that I know Kobe would do. You know, the mentality that he had to keep pushing. Everybody else is out partying. Kobe's in the gym. You know, Kobe wasn't buddy buddy with everybody. He wasn't kumbaya. He played for the same team his whole career. He didn't run to different cities chasing championships. Yeah, I look at all those things as mastering. And then the harvest again. You know, rest in peace to that great man and his daughter Gigi. Um, but you still see the harvest today. How many people he's impacted? Just like we said with Gandhi and the others. So those seasons of the life, you know, for me, writing this down and I think of it today, it's like wow. But it's like you said, Renee, I'm always discovering, man, always stretching that shift. Shout out to Big Mo, Maurice Thomas, you know, Sharon Maurice Thomas, Big Mo. He has a book called The Shift. And the gist of his book is, you know, the shift that he experienced from his car accident that really changed his life. The powerful book, you know, but you know, I think a shout out to Myron Edmonds. Get your shift together, men. Get your shift together. You know, get your shift together. So yeah, it's full circle. It really is.
You made me think of a phrase, rinse and repeat. Right?
Yeah.
And I think the reason we rinse is because maybe it got dirty a little bit. But we sometimes we did something, it worked so well that we forget it. And all of a sudden we're doing something different because we want what's better. Right? We always want to improve, but we put so much junk on top of it that we have to rinse it off and go, let's go back to the basics, go back to the things that worked. And maybe we added too much stuff to it, and now it's not working the way it should be. So a lot of people will also say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I always say, if it ain't broke, great, make sure it's still running. Right? Maybe it does need a little fixing or a little touch up. So rinse and repeat is, to me, is understanding that we have to look at the values behind our leadership style, the leadership we follow, and those we're leading. And look at all the values that we're impacting upon ourselves and upon others. Because I think values really stem from the foundation of what we're building. I think it's the root structure, values.
Robbie Lytle is cooking in the chat right now. He's
He
cooking.
is. Let me put that up.
He's cooking. Oh wow. Wow, he's cooking in the chat, man. Another NBA great, if I may. Like I say, just you know, we go to all these different events and conferences, and you know, we collect all of this data per se, and then in these moments to be able to share that data is so powerful. But there's an old school NBA player named Cuttino Mobley. Shout out to Cuttino Mobley. He used to play for the Houston Rockets, a couple other teams. But he said 10 principles. And make sure you write these down, Teddy Scott out there. Make sure you write these down or go back and watch it. But number 1, morning routine. Number 2, self-discipline. Number 3, serving others. Number 4, gratitude. Number 5, forgiveness. Number 6, balance. Number 7, patience. Number 8, inner peace, like Dr. Rani talked about. Number 9, boundaries. Say no. Get used and comfortable to saying no. So true. And lastly, 10, intentions. You know, what your intentions are usually manifest, especially if they're going in the right direction. So just wanted to toss that one in there.
I want to touch on no. So I have a lot of friends who are celebrities and so forth. And one of the things that they have to say, especially in Hollywood, that they've known, is no.
Yeah.
No is the common word in Hollywood. And the reason is because they're getting pitched 1,000 times a day. And no becomes the most important word they can utter out, because when it's a yes, it's going to cost some money.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change lives. It's going to give people opportunities. So your no's should be the guard, and the yes should be the opportunities.
That's good, bro. I'm an example, man. Like I'm still, because we're servant leaders, and sometimes saying no is difficult, man.
Mhm.
But back to Dr. Ronnie again. Dr. Ronnie, you said that bar for me today. Just that inner light, that energy. Like it starts within, man. That's the only way you can stay on the straight and narrows within, in that relationship with the Creator, the Most High. We all know that, but the no is so necessary, like you said, Sifu. Because I catch myself all the time saying, man, if imagine Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Gandhi, the Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they can't go anywhere without someone that they don't even know. It's just they're always under that umbrella of someone pulling and tugging. And no has to be a part of the repertoire. It has to be. Um, I don't think you'd survive without it. You're in New York City, Sifu, and you see on TMZ the car pulls up in front of the Carl's Ritson or Ritz Carlton, whatever it is, and that celebrity gets out and it's just paparazzi, constant
Yeah.
flash. They have to say no. They have to. I think of Lady Gaga, man. If you watch her documentary, Lady Gaga, it made me cry. I'm man enough to say it, Chris. Watching her documentary, I cried because I was like, bro, she does not have a normal life, bro. And her life and all she wanted to do was just get to her grandmother's house, crawl up on the couch, get in the fetal position, just lay there with her grandmother and just be normal. And she couldn't do that because she didn't know how to say no. Wow.
No is a powerful word. It's a full sentence.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you think about all the people that we spoke about today, can you imagine if they all sat down at a table and had a discussion? I know I want to be there just to listen to the wealth of information that would come from these people. Every single one of them, from Michael Jackson to Mahatma Gandhi to Kobe Bryant to every single one, Nelson Mandela, every one of them that we mentioned. You can go back and listen to all the names that we put together, and then the five of us sitting there with them. I would be wowed, but there also may be a lot of silence.
Yeah.
Because the silence is when we're listening. And when we listen, right? I love the word listen, because when you flip it around, it's silent.
Yeah.
So in order to listen, you have to be silent. And those words, just flip the letters around, and they equal the same thing. It's pay attention, right? Like we heard in Tampa, right? From my good friend, Matt DeMaio. And it's about remembering to listen and not always have to speak. So at that point, I will shut up.
Yes.
Yes.
Parting words, man. What's on y'all's heart, man, as we close this thing out? Parting words.
The leadership shift doesn't start, it doesn't happen until you shift. When that internal alignment, that decision that you make of what your why and who do you want people to become as a result of you. Our leadership is not about us, it's what happens through us, it's an extension of us. I would love to connect with you. I focus on helping people shift that identity that gets in the way, that creates a gap and blocks them from showing up in rooms the way they deserve to. Follow me on LinkedIn, Renee Jackson Smith, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here.
It's awesome.
Amazing. For myself, leadership is really measured through legacy. And what I mean by that is, are you creating followers or are you creating more leaders? And a true testament of a leader is if they leave the business and you're creating more leaders. That's the way I look at leadership and the shift, and more importantly, the impact that you're having on others. Not the results, the record profits. What are you doing to create more leaders? You can check me out as well on LinkedIn. I post 2 to 3 times a week talking about leadership, mindset as well. Thank you for this conversation, Renee, Dr. Rani, Sifu. Thank you for the opportunity to be on here. And Coach T.O., Clay, love you, brother. Great to see you.
You too,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Love you too.
Thank you, everybody. This has been really wonderful to have all of you to have this conversation. And huge thank you to Sifu and Coach Theo, and to Chris and Renee as well. And for me, I would say leadership starts, each one of us, we are a leader. And it starts with how we think, how we feel, and how we behave. That's very important, because when we work on working on our traumas, on healing ourselves, we can show up in a more powerful way to others, because all of us, we contribute to making the world a better place. So I would say it starts within us, with us. And when we start to believe in ourselves and to who we are, why we are here, what is our mission, what are we here to do, that's when we can start to make the shift and to help others to believe in themselves and create that transformation. So if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and Facebook, Rani Thanacoody, and I would love to connect with you. I would help you to do some work to connect with who you are, to find out who you are and what you are here for. And a huge thank you again to Sifu and Coach Theo. Thank you, everybody. And I wish you all to remember that you are the treasure that you have been seeking.
Set.
I know, Renee, you have to head out for another meeting, but thank you so much for being here with us. I appreciate you. Coach Theo, what is your parting words?
Parting words is I love each and every one of you on this screen with us today. My heart, I'm just overwhelmed. I thank God today just for being with other leaders, man. Like it's and to keep sharpening the blade. That's what I love. And I could go upstairs and be a better leader to my family, better husband to my wife, better father to my children, my friends, colleagues, partners. Looking forward to hugging you, Sifu. And Chris, man, I want to get out to Australia, man, and see you.
You're always welcome.
Man. Yeah,
We have
bro.
to do a unified leadership in Australia, man.
Yes, beautiful out there, man. Yeah, and Dr. Rani, thank you so much for being here with us. You inspired me today. I say that wholeheartedly. I love your patience of leadership. It just on display this morning with us. Your words are very calculated. They really hit home. and I appreciate you for that, because
Thank you.
I study the inner. You know, I love studying the inner, and I think that's God's purpose for us. Is the deeper we dig in the self, like you said, it's a better world out there. The macro. Yeah, I've evolved as a micro leader to affect the macro. So thank you, Dr. Ronnie. And as
Thank you.
always, thank you, Sifu. Yeah, thank you, brother.
Absolutely. My parting words is don't be alone. Join us on the summit, August 21st, right? Get your ticket. It's going across the bottom of the screen. It's easy to do, right? And you can do it in the comfort of your home, right? You don't have to travel anywhere. You can chill. It's 7 hours of full leadership, and the topics are getting hotter and hotter as everybody starts to chime in. And so we're going to have some incredible topics. It's not going to be a summit like all the other summits you've ever been to, somebody just telling you things. No, we're going to give you action plans. We're going to give you a lot of different things. And it's going to be everybody chiming in, not one person at a time, right? So it's everybody's going to be on the panel like we did today. And that's the difference with our summit compared to other summits. I'm not knocking the other summits. I'm just saying ours is better. Did I say that out loud? Maybe I did. Maybe I did. But just make sure you join us August 21st. And join us every Friday, because we're here helping your leadership style grow. My leadership style grows every time I'm with Coach Dio. So thank you. God bless everybody.
Thank you.
Unify leadership. Let's move. Let's lead.
Let's ride.
Unify leadership. Like the flame, turn it up loud. Remember the name.